You ready to go? All right, this is where we're starting. What's going on, guys? So this is David Brissetti. He's usually behind the camera, but I kept making jokes and not actually taking things seriously, so he decided to sit next to me so we can get this video done. Actually, before I begin, this microphone is absolutely nothing. This is what I use for my podcast. There's actually a microphone on the camera. But today, David and I spent about 2.5 hours outside in New York City in Washington Square Park.
Excuse me, miss. Not trying to sell you anything or do anything on environmental?
Yeah.
No.
Number one, convincing people I wasn't actually trying to sell them anything.
Excuse me, sir. Not trying to sell you anything, I promise.
Yeah,
I run a fitness company. I was wondering if I could ask you a couple questions.
And number two, just getting people to tell me about their biggest fitness struggles.
Nutrition, I think. I really don't pay attention to what I'm eating.
I said, basically my line was, if you could talk to
The Dumbledore of fitness,
Yeah.
what would you ask him?
everyone had different paths.
When you want to get into the gym or do anything motivation-wise, one of the biggest things you can do is sort of like a mental mind hack.
But all the paths led to the same question, which I thought was very interesting. And by the way, we spoke to people from all different backgrounds. We spoke to a guy from Australia who was visiting his partner. We spoke to a young woman in law school who's the head of a Muslim student organization. Spoke to a young woman who is, I think she was from Panama, and spoke to a young guy from New York as well. So spoke to a bunch of different people, a lot of different backgrounds, and they all had different starting points and different places where we began the discussion, but they all ended up coming back to time. That the biggest issue they had with working out and fitness and nutrition was time. I don't got time to work out, you know what I'm talking about? And I told them, listen, man, you tell me how come you don't got time. What time you go to work? They say 11 a.m. You tell me you don't got time at 11 a.m., man? You fuck. That's what they struggled with. And it's funny because as soon as that answer comes up, rather than me saying exactly, well, here, you can work out for 10 minutes a day and it's fine, or saying, well, why don't you get stuff at your house? I like to ask more questions because really time is not the issue. And it's funny because if you look at marketing and sales for fitness industry products, time is always the selling point because people think it's time. People actually logically think in their own head it's time. That's why Bowflex commercials are 3 times a week for 20 minutes a day, and that's all you need. Or you have these workout programs that are like that's why HIIT sells so well. It's because you can get an amazing workout in 7 minutes or less or whatever. And it sounds very sexy and it sounds very good because the less amount of time, the greater the convenience, and convenience you can really charge for that. But time is really not the issue. And when I talk with people who say that time is the issue, and I really dig deeper and deeper and deeper, and I did this with each person today, it really boiled down to that it wasn't either a priority and or they didn't know what exactly to do, and or they didn't have the motivation to do it. So for example, one young woman, one of the issues was it wasn't actually time. It was that when she was consistent with the gym before, she had a personal trainer to keep her accountable. And even though she has equipment in her basement, right in her house, she has dumbbells, she has all this equipment that her fiance has there, she's not really motivated because there's no accountability. And then, what was another one? One of the guys, he was talking about how at first he said it was time, but then it really just came about that he wasn't really sure what he should be doing. He knew that it would be good to have a plan, but he didn't know what the best plan was. And so that was keeping him from starting at all because he was like, well, I don't know what to do. And so he just didn't do anything. So the reality is time is generally not the issue. It's a way of disguising what your issue actually is. And what I would encourage you to do is, number one, really have a conversation with yourself and say okay, listen, odds are I could find 15, 20 minutes here to do something. And something is better than nothing. So really figure out what is the major number one thing keeping you from doing it. And I would say probably 8 to 9 times out of 10, it's not time, it's more motivation. It's more actually just getting up and doing it. Because once you're there, once you're in the gym, once you're going, you're fine. It's usually the just getting up off your couch and turning off Netflix and going to work out. That is what is like the hardest part. It's actually just doing it, making that move. So one of the recommendations that I give is just doing something and saying, okay, here's the deal. So for example, one of the common recommendations I give is, let's say you want to start working out, you even have equipment in your house, and you're having trouble doing it, make yourself a promise that you'll do 60 seconds of stretching. That when it's time to work out and you don't want to, just promise yourself, make a rule, you'll do 60 seconds of stretching. If after 60 seconds of stretching, you decide, you know what, I'm still not gonna do it, fine, done. At least you did 60 seconds of stretching. But what usually happens is just standing up and doing a hip flexor stretch or jumping jacks or whatever you want to do something for 60 seconds. Usually by doing that and standing up and forcing yourself into that position, you're going to be like, you know what, like, all right, I'll go. I'll make it happen. Because you've gotten past that first barrier, and that first barrier is the toughest. So this video already went on a little bit longer than I wanted, but basically, I hope this video helped. I hope it opened up a new light in regard to what might be keeping you from working out or starting to eat better, or maybe even like if you're looking at this from a business perspective, if you haven't really been as consistent with posting on social media, whatever it is, that first step is always the toughest. We all have time. It's just a matter of understanding where you're really prioritizing that time, and if you're having trouble breaking past that first barrier, what mind hack can you use to really make yourself do it no matter what? And sometimes just doing something as simple as jumping jacks for 60 seconds beforehand could be what you really need to get back in the gym or do anything at all. So hope this helps. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you don't already. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Dope.
That was good.
That was awesome. I tried not to laugh all the time.